I loved him for years, but he only realized it when I stopped. There is a strange kind of pain that comes from being loved too quietly, not ignored, not rejected, just overlooked. I met him when we were both still young enough to believe time would wait for us. We were classmates at first, then friends, then something that didn't have a name but somehow lasted for years. He was the kind of person who felt familiar from the beginning, like someone your life naturally makes space for. We studied together, acted together, walked home together. People often asked if we were dating. We always laughed and said no, and somehow that answer never changed. I loved him long before I admitted it to myself. I loved him in the way I remembered his habits, the way he took his coffee, the way he got quiet when he was stressed, the way he avoided talking about his fears. I was there for everything. When he failed exams, when he fought with his family, when he doubted his future. I listened without judging, encouraged without demanding, stayed without asking for anything in return. He trusted me, and I mistook trust for love. Whenever he talked about other girls, my heart tightened. But I smiled anyway. I told myself I was being mature, that friendship was more important, that one day maybe he would see me differently. Sometimes he almost did. Late nights when conversations felt deeper, moments when he looked at me a second longer than usual, times when he said, "I don't know what I'd do without you." Those words kept me hoping. Years passed. Life moved forward for him. New jobs, new friends, new relationships, and I stayed in the same place in his life. Always available, always understanding, always waiting. I watched him fall in love with other women. I watched him give them the attention, the effort, the commitment I never asked for, but secretly wanted. And every time it ended badly for him, he came back to me. I held him while he talked about heartbreak, and I told myself love meant staying. But staying came at a cost. I started feeling invisible, like my presence was only valuable when he was lonely. There was a night that finally changed everything. We were sitting in my car after dinner, rain falling lightly outside. The world felt quiet, heavy. He sighed and said, "Why do relationships always fail?" I looked at him and for the first time in years, said the truth. Because sometimes the right person is standing right next to you, and you never look. He laughed softly, thinking it was a joke, but I wasn't smiling. Something in my voice made him stop. "Are you serious?" he asked. I nodded. That was the first time I admitted it out loud. I told him I loved him, that I had loved him for years, that I was tired of pretending it didn't hurt. He went silent, not angry, not defensive, just shocked. "I didn't know," he said finally, and that hurt more than rejection, because it meant he never noticed. He didn't say yes. He didn't say no. He said, "I need time to think." Time. Dying me now. The same thing I had been giving him for years. That night, I went home and realized something painful. If someone truly wants you, they don't need time to decide. So I made a choice for myself. I stopped being available, not out of revenge, not out of bitterness, but because I was tired of loving someone who never chose me. I replied less, stopped meeting him alone, stopped being his emotional safety net. He noticed. "Did I do something wrong?" he asked. I answered honestly, "I just can't keep loving you like this." Weeks passed, then months. One day, he showed up at my door unexpectedly. He looked nervous. "I think I made a mistake," he said. "I think I love you." I looked at him and felt something break quietly inside me. Not because I didn't care, but because I cared too late. "I loved you when you didn't have to choose," I said softly. "I can't love you now. That you're afraid of losing me?" He tried to explain, tried to convince me, but something had changed. I had changed. I realized I didn't want to be someone's realization. I wanted to be someone's first choice. Letting him go hurt, but staying would have hurt more. Today, we don't talk anymore. Sometimes I still think about him, about what could have been, but I don't regret choosing myself, because love that only arrives when you walk away was never meant to stay. If you are listening to this and loving someone silently, please hear this. You deserve to be chosen without disappearing first. I am Lucy, and this is Unsaid Love.